All right, the pardon board is reconvening at the Lane Hunt Correctional Center. It's Monday, September 8th, 2025, 2:24 in the afternoon. And thank you, Warden, for waiting on us all afternoon. We appreciate it. It's been a long day. So, Warden, would you and your staff introduce yourself for the record?
Deputy Warden Lou Brings.
Joe Buckner's Assistant Warden. That's all we have today, Madam Chairman.
Okay. And we have Mr. Alexis, is it, in front of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us your name and DOC.
My name is Ted Alexis, 331296.
All right, and before we get started, I want to recognize the folks. You have with you your sister Tayon Alexis, and she wants to speak. We'll ask her in a minute. On Zoom, another sister, Terry Alexis. We also have the Parole Project here in support, and Ms. Cassidy Kramer, who is here in support as well. In opposition, we have Carly Daniel, Caitlin Dupree, Clayton Kramer, and then we have a representative from the District Attorney's Office in the 24th Judicial District, Mr. Myers. We'll hear from him as well at the appropriate time. First, Mr. Alexis, let me just read some identifying information into the record. You're here, you're seeking a commutation of your sentence, and you're serving, let's see, out of Orleans Parish. You were convicted in 1994 in September for armed robbery and illegal possession of stolen things. You received a 30-year sentence on the armed robbery, 3 years on the illegal possession of stolen things. Then there's a sentencing in March of 1996 in Jefferson Parish, first-degree murder, for which you received a life sentence that was to run consecutive to any other sentence. Is that information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So tell us, we want your statement first, Mr. Alexis. Tell us, what led you to prison, and why do you think we should vote favorably for you today?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank the board, administration for allowing me the opportunity to come before y'all. Bad choices and decisions led me to prison, and things that I experienced as a kid, not making excuses for my actions. And I'd like to apologize to the family for the loss of their loved one. And I hope that new family have to go through that again. Well, it's my family. And there's not too much I can really say on that, man, because there's nothing that you can say to actually repay your debt for the actions that have been done.
All right. So the second part was, why do you think we ought to vote in your favor today?
Well, I'm asking for consideration to take the things that I've incorporated since I've been in Hunts. And I thank Hunts for the opportunity to progress and become a better, mature person, to help and interact with younger guys and help them make better choices and decisions. So therefore, no family can get hurt or interact and go through what those families went through.
All right. We'll have some questions for you in a few minutes. Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Alexis?
He's been at Elaine Hunt since 2005. He's been disciplinary report free since 2018. He obtained minimum level custody since 2020. He's currently assigned as our stock clerk in the canteen. He also assists with our transitional program as a mentor, where he talks to the guys who kind of give us behavioral problems. Ma'am?
Good to hear. Anything
Yes,
else?
No, ma'am, that's it.
All right. Before we start our interview, Mr. Alexis, we want to hear from the people that want to speak. And first, could we hear from your sister there with you? Ma'am, we'd like to go ahead.
Okay, hi, my name is Tayan Alexis. I'm Ted's sister. I have been a part of his support system for the past 32 years. He did go to Angola at the age of 21, at which time he had no convictions. He was a first-time offender. I personally believe that incarceration saved his life. and made him a better man. It basically made him the man that he is today. In my opinion, he resorted to the streets as a means of survival and to provide for myself and two younger siblings due to my mother's untimely demise. Um, Incarceration never stopped him from being a brother or an uncle. He's always, played his role as far as the family is concerned. For the most part, we have all boys. So, he has been an example to them. He has been active in their lives, verbally and writing, bringing them here to visit with him, which has helped with them going down the correct path. When he came to Hunt, he immediately earned his GED, and my husband and I came to his graduation. He began taking several classes, obtaining certifications and letters of acknowledgement. Although work details are assigned, he did volunteer to work in hospice. And as the warden said, he is currently a mentor, and his goal is to reach the young men that are entering in hopes of guiding them on the right path so they don't make mistakes or get out of jail and return to jail and things of that nature. So those two things alone shows his humanity and empathy for others. He has shown remorse by taking the initiative to participate in the Victim Impact Program. It's my understanding that the victim's daughter has no objection to his freedom. Ted has been affiliated with several clubs, one of which he was the president. And in this role, he provided Christmas presents to children of incarcerated parents. They also provided backpacks and school supplies, things of that nature. That's just some of the things that, he did. The Ted Alexis that came in here is not the same Ted today. I believe that he would be an asset to society because he has learned a lot, he has grown. I don't personally feel that there's anyone, that would have something bad or negative to say about him. I'm his sister, of course, and I visit frequently and things of that nature, but the people here at the facility that he interacts with on a daily basis, when I visit, it's always positive things that are said.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate hearing from you.
Thank you.
Carrie, Alexis, on Zoom.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I could barely I could barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Well, go ahead. We're
Yes.
ready for your statement.
Okay. I'm trying to represent my brother Ted Alexis. I mean, I can't express to you guys the type of person he is. He has grown since he's been incarcerated. I mean, more than ever. Um, it seems like him being incarcerated helped him to develop into the man he was born to be because he's always been a sensitive person, an attentive person. It's just that the life that we were given was difficult. And at the time, I was the person that was taking care of him and supporting him. At the time, I had 3 other siblings. Now, by the grace of God, I have a lifestyle. I make a 3-figure income. I have an acre of land. God has given me everything I have worked towards to prepare for him. And I mean, on his journey, he has taken several people with him. I have been able to visit him before I left home, and now I live in Massachusetts. And every time I go, there's a parent coming up to the table telling me, I thank you because your brother helped get my son off of drugs, or your brother. His journey, he's taken many people on his journey and they've gotten out. And I'm asking you guys to please give him an opportunity to use what he's gained in there to come out into society. I have a son that is 32 years old that only knows my brother from prison. When he first visited him at 3 years old, he thought that was his house. But from that point, my brother pointed out to him that this is not a place you want to be. My son is 33 years old, 6'4", and he expressed to him about being a black male on the street and the dangers. My son does not have any trouble. He's very successful, and I mean he's waiting for his uncle so that he can show him the things that he taught him, and he wants to help him while he's out here. We have one of the best after incarceration programs in the country, is what it says on their flyer. But from my experience, I've seen it. He gets to go to college. They give them benefits. He gets his own case manager to navigate him through the system. I'm asking you guys to give me the opportunity to do what I wasn't able to do when we were younger. I wasn't able to support him properly, but now I'm able to support him and give him what he needs to be able to live his own life and be a respectable person in society. I'm just asking to give him an opportunity. I've worked hard to make sure, and we've prayed hard that this day would come, and when it would come, that he would be supported properly. Like I said, I have a 33-year-old son that would be able to drive him around, show him things. As far as income, he was taking care of my son. I have a special needs son before all of this. And I have now where I'm able to pay him $20 an hour. There's a program that where he'd be taking care of my son, which is I need, because my husband just died 4 months ago. And I don't have that support anymore. And my son doesn't have that support. He's been talking to my brother on the phone from day one since he's been incarcerated. And believe me, videos and everything. So I'm asking you to please, the support that I've had on the phone, I really need in person, and give him an opportunity to use the things that he gained while he's in prison, and help other people out here. Like I said, we have one of the best after incarceration programs. They have all kind of meetings and stuff to keep you in line, and if you need extra support. But believe me, I moved to this place and I worked to this point for this moment. And I'm asking y'all to please just give us a chance.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks for speaking with us. And then we have Cassidy Kramer. Is Cassidy on Zoom?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. We'd like to hear from you.
Hello, my name is Cassidy Kramer Juneau. I'm the daughter of Maggie Kramer, who was tragically murdered in 1993. Losing my mom at such a young age changed my life forever. For more than 3 decades, I have carried the weight of that loss. And while time has helped me find peace, the pain of losing her will always be a part of me. Growing up without my mother was not easy. As the oldest daughter raised by a single father, I faced many challenges, but I also found resilience and strength along the way. 3 men have been serving life sentences in Louisiana for their involvement in my mother's death: Ted Alexis, Bryant Banks, and Julius Banks. Several years ago, through the Victim Offender Dialogue Program, I met Ted face to face. In that setting, he admitted in front of myself and my advocates, Wilba Spencer and Daryl Campbell, that he was the one that pulled the trigger that night. This was one of the hardest conversations of my life, but it also gave me the opportunity to seek truth, healing, and understanding. For many years, this was a confusion about who fired the gun, and Julius carried the weight of that accusation. Hearing Ted take responsibility brought clarity of something to my family, or at least for me, that I've lived with for so long. Participating in the victim dialogue process was not easy, but allowed me to move forward in forgiveness and closure. I have done the work to heal, and I can say today I do not live with anger. I live with desire for truth, fairness, and compassion. I know that this board carries a responsibility of deciding whether clemency is appropriate. I do not presume to tell you what decision you should make. What I can share is my hope that if clemency is considered, the truth of each person's role is weighed carefully, and that fairness guides the outcome for all involved. I also want to acknowledge that I have seen growth in Ted over the years. Through my interactions with him and what I've learned about his life while incarcerated, I believe that he worked hard to change. If clemency is granted, I hope to continue having some contact with him, as it will bring me peace, knowing that healing and growth can even come from tragedy. Above all, I hope this process brings justice that reflects both accountability and compassion. I have already forgiven and my wish for my family and for everyone touched by this case to find closure in whatever outcome is reached. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. All right, so we'll move on and we'd like to hear from Mr. Clayton Kramer. You're still on mute, sir, Mr. Kramer.
All right. My name's Clayton Kramer. I was married to Margaret Kramer, the woman who is the mother of my children, the same woman who Mr. Alexis was convicted of for murdering Maggie on October 24th, 1993. From that day, my daughters were left without a mother. From that day, I was left to raise my daughters without the ability to give them the type of emotional nurturing, the connection only a mother can provide. From that day, Mr. Alexis and his accomplices impacted the lives of more people than he realizes. On October 24th, 1993, Ted Alexis and his accomplices chose to rob, terrorize, and physically harm unsuspecting victims of themselves and property. By the good work of Jefferson Parish and Orleans Police Department, Mr. Alexis and his thug friends were caught and arrested that same day, just hours after the crimes were committed. As most of you know, Mr. Alexis was tried and convicted of the death of Maggie, the mother of my daughters. Mr. Alexis has been tried and found guilty and sentenced to life with no chance of parole by the state of Louisiana. Now, I'm not here to ask why or even we're discussing this, but I am here to ask why we're having this discussion on if there's life with no parole, why are we having this discussion? Oh, boy. So on October 24th, 1993, my daughters were only 8, 5, and 3 years old, important years of a child's impressionable mind. I was not only left in raising the children alone, but raising 3 girls without them ever having the influence, the gift of the type of love a mother can provide. On that day, I had to explain to my children that their mother was gone. Try to imagine explaining to your children that their mother has been killed by the hands of selfish, violent criminals. For years, we all believed that the men who were convicted of murdering Maggie would never have the opportunity for freedom. Now, somehow, Mr. Alexis believes he has earned the right of freedom after intentionally and violently taking a life. To me, it's unfathomable to even imagine Mr. Alexis is even being considered for parole. Mr. Alexis claims he is remorseful for his actions. Should an apology earn him the freedom? Does remorse allow him to live a life in freedom after committing the murder? Mr. Alexis and his accomplices were on a rampant crime spree that night. I only feel his only real remorse is Mr. Alexis is sorry that he got caught. For my daughters and myself, life changed. I became extremely protective of my children. After several years of all this, my anger, my sense of loss had dulled. As most emotional pains that life gives you, it's time that heals most things. It seems that we all have the ability to compartmentalize our past. The fear of how I could possibly raise 3 daughters without their mother haunted me for many years after Maggie's death. As I mentioned, my fear and my anger dulled. However, my daughters lost their mother on that eventful night of October 24th, 93. My daughters no longer had someone to whom was supposed to be their most influential person in their lives. Yet selfishly, violently, their mother's life was taken away. Approximately a year ago, I was notified by the board that Mr. Alexis was applying for parole. I was stunned in utter disbelief. How could this be? He was convicted and sentenced to life with no chance of parole. Again, why are we having this discussion? Once my dulled anger for the senseless murder of Maggie, it became honed, razor sharp again. After that call, I immediately contacted my daughters to discuss how they felt about Mr. Alexis applying for parole. To hear one of my daughters express her fear regarding the chance of Mr. Alexis being free again infuriated me. To know my daughter harbors fear, Mr. Alexis really just strikes a chord in me. I assured her that those fears and the events would never happen, and to have faith in the parole committee would never grant Mr. Alexis a parole. I don't think that anyone, Mr. Alexis or his accomplices, or even the board really knows how we were all affected by his selfish and violent actions that changed my daughter's and my lives from that day, October 24th, 1993. In closing, it's my recommendation that Mr. Alexis serves his remaining years as his life sentence states, life with no parole. I would hope next time Mr. Alexis requests anything from the court regarding a reduced sentence, he is told the exact same thing that Maggie was told right before they shot her. Shut that bitch up. I'd like to thank the board for allowing me the opportunity to express my thoughts. Thank you.
Mr. Kramer. And then I think we also have Caitlin Dupree.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to thank the board members for allowing me to speak today. Next, I'd like to give the definition of first-degree murder. First-degree murder is the intentional, premeditated, and willful killing of another person or killing that occurs during a commission of certain dangerous felonies. Sorry. One of his sisters just stated that y'all didn't have a mother figure, or they didn't have a mother figure in their life. That's why he turned to the streets and made that decision. I didn't have a mother figure. I didn't turn to the streets. That's not an excuse. October 24th, 1993, a date I'll never forget. I was 5 years old. The day I lost my mom, my siblings lost our mom, the day my grandparents lost their daughter, my aunt and uncle lost their sister, and my dad lost the mother of his children. That was almost 32 years ago. Now, Ted Alexis believes that he shouldn't have to serve a life sentence without parole for the murder of my mother. But what about our life sentence? Since that day, we haven't had one single moment with her. I haven't heard her voice in 32 years. I can't even count on a whole hand how many memories I actually have of my mom, the last one being seeing her in her casket. No mom to wipe away our tears, our kiss, our scraped knees. No mom to guide us through our heartbreaks, growing pains, or first dances. No prom dress shopping, no wedding dress shopping. No mother at our graduations, our weddings, or even when her grandchildren were born. He took all of that away in one selfish, irreversible moment. And yet now he wants freedom. Why should he get that option? We never had one. My mom didn't die because she was sick. This wasn't an accident. Her life was stolen deliberately in an act of selfless violence, a split-second decision that led to lifelong damage. And the pain didn't stop with her death. Ted Alexis took my mom's life, then left with his friends to go play pool at a bar. And now he wants his sentence reduced. That's not remorse. That's not accountability. That's not justice. I'm often asked if I think that Ted Alexis deserved to have the death penalty. My answer to that is no, because unlike his decision to take my mom's life, it's not mine to make the decision on his. He deserves to live with what he did every single day. But just because he's still breathing doesn't mean he deserves freedom. He made a decision to take a life. He is a convicted murderer, first-degree murderer. He should have to serve his sentence fully, just as we've had to live ours every single day since 1993. Please do not grant him clemency. There's no justice in allowing a man who shattered so many lives to walk free.
Thank you, Ms. Dupree. Now from the DA's office, Mr. Myers.
Good afternoon, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. And we're strongly opposed to the request for a commutation of sentence by Mr. Alexis. Mr. Alexis is a violent individual. Not only did he shoot Miss Kramer, after that, he and his criminal friends committed armed robberies on 3 other individuals in Orleans Parish. One of those victims, Mr. Alexis, pistol whipped and beat during the course of that robbery. What I found important regarding those facts is in March 14th of 2023, he was removed from anger management. So he didn't complete the anger management course that is provided by the DOC. I do know that he did complete an anger management course during the 100 hours program, but not an additional anger management course that many of the inmates do take. Further, his programming is pretty limited. He's essentially done the 100 hours early on in 2015. He took a couple of courses, two phases of living in balance. But since 2017, when he completed the 100 hours, he's only taken 4 additional courses, and I think that is insufficient to reward him with granting a commutation of his sentence. Not only has he shown through being removed from anger management that he's not prepared to be considered for a commutation of sentence, he has had 38 disciplinary reports. Although the last couple of years he's gotten better and not had additional disciplinary reports at this time. And finally, insufficient time served. This murder occurred in 1993. And I just simply don't believe that is sufficient time for him to even be considered for a commutation of his sentence. Those reasons and the very strong victim opposition from most families, most of the victim family, we're opposed to his request.
Mr. Meyer. Mr. Alexis, your case was assigned to Mr. Tillis. Would you answer any questions?
Good afternoon, Mr. Alexis. How are you?
I'm all right, sir.
Good, good. I read your file twice, and I commend you for the change that you're making. And I have no questions.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. I would like to say also that I'm impressed with your record, and I agree with your sister. I think going to prison really saved your life. And I'm pleased that you're making good use of that time with your work in hospice and helping others. I just want to say that and say thank you for it. I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Tillis?
I hope that you continue the good work you're doing now. But because of family and law enforcement opposition, my vote's going to be to deny.
Mrs. Stapleton?
Before I vote, I would like to reach out to the victims that had the courage to speak today. Sometimes they remain silent because it's just so painful, but I'm glad you did come forward and say what you had to say, because it was worth all of us hearing. And I am voting to deny based upon law enforcement opposition and the strong opposition of the victim.
Mr. Prater?
I concur. No,
Freeman?
I concur for the same reasons.
All right, Mr. Alexis, you received 4 votes to deny your application. So today your application for clemency has been denied, sir. Warden, we're going to sign off. It's 2:52. Thanks for
Ma'am.